And hold on, make sure I'm recording. Okay, so after we go through that, I will also show you some well-known companies that hire from home on occasion as well. And then we'll go over some independent contractor opportunities, and I'll give you a brief overview of the difference between an independent contractor and an employee, then show you those resources, and then just quickly go over some bullet points of how to avoid work from home scams, and then just a few quick announcements, and I'll open it up for a Q&A. So today I'm going to show you about 6 to 8 websites for companies that are currently hiring, but I have a list even longer that we won't have time to discuss. So at the end of this meeting, I will have a list of all those companies so you can review them on your own time. The first one I want to show you is called Sykes or Alpine Access. It's a lot different from the way the others work, so I really want to spend some time on it, and then we can go through the other ones a bit quicker. Because they have a very similar process with each other. I actually find Sykes to be the most interesting process and kind of exciting because you have the potential to get hired in a matter of days with them. So you should now see the home page of Alpine Access on your screen. So you would go to alpineaccessjobs.com. If it's your very first time on this website, you would either go to sign up in the top corner, or you can hit apply for a job, and it's going to take you to the same form. Basically, you're going to be making your profile, and just to prepare you, you're going to want to set aside 30 minutes to an hour to make your profile with them, because not only do you fill out like a normal history of your employment, but you're also going to do some assessments. So that could be role-playing, customer service roles, and a typing test. And it's all computerized. You're not working with a real person at this time, so no worries about that. Once you have a profile, you would go to log in, and this is what it's going to look like for you. You're going to see actual jobs that they're currently hiring for. And right here, you'll get a brief overview of what it is, so you know right off the bat if it's something that's even realistic for you. And then you can see more. So you would click Job Details, and you're going to see this one is a seasonal position. I don't want you to get too nervous if you start seeing a bunch of seasonal positions. Keep in mind that it is holiday season, so there's going to be a lot more seasonal on here than normal. The nice thing about a company like this is they're always hiring, and they're always going to look at their current employees before they go elsewhere. So if you're, don't let this keep you from applying for it, because it could open the doors to other positions with them. So here you'll see just a description about the job, some of your primary responsibilities, so answering back-to-back calls and resolving customer issues, multitasking, so pretty much anything you can expect in a call center environment. And then if you scroll down all the way, it'll give you the general qualifications. So with this one, you have to be at least 18, authorized in the U.S., high school diploma, and then here's your pay rate. Now keep in mind that if you live in a state where your pay rate is above $9 an hour, you do get what your state minimum wage is. So legally, they cannot pay you less than minimum wage for your state. So if it sounds good so far and you think you might want to pursue this one, you can take a look at the shifts. Anytime you open it, it's going to give you these 2 examples, so you don't have to read this every time. But here's the current shifts they're hiring for this position, so you can see there's a lot of time slots. But I will be fair and tell you that with these companies, the scheduling for new hires is first come, first serve. So a little tip for you, if you know that you're going to be setting up an interview for this position, what I would do is prioritize all the scheduling before you go into the interview. So that way, when they ask for it, you're ready to send it, and hopefully you're one of the first people to get it in. And then, you increase your chance of getting the position that you want. So then you can look at training details. And training will start October 31st for this one. You usually have a couple half days and a few days off, and then it moves into full-time 40-hour training, and you can see that this one is for half a month. So if this sounds like something you would like to do, what you would do is click on I would like to choose this job. I'm not going to do it because it's going to put me through the next process, and I don't want to do that right now. But basically what would happen if you click on this is it'll say you've been invited to interview, and then you pick the time slot that you want to interview. If you're not interested, you would click I'm not interested in this job. You would give a reason why, say you don't like the shifts. Hit decline job, and now it's going to show you the next job. So you can see this one is financial credit card representative. And this one starts a little bit sooner, so October 17th instead of October 31st. And you've got over a month training for this one. And the training pay rate is minimum wage. And then again, you can look at the job details. So this one's steady, stable position, so not seasonal. You can learn more about the responsibilities and what you can expect. And again, the qualifications. And then this one, it looks like they give you incentives. So 50 cents more per hour if you're meeting your metrics, 25 for performance. And this one doesn't say anything, and the other one didn't either, but keep in mind some of these positions will require you to get a landline phone in your house. Keep in mind, though, it's just a very basic line. You don't need any of the extra features, so you're looking at maybe $10, $15 a month to get a phone line if you don't have one already. Okay, so just quickly, this one, you can see they just have one shift, and translated to our time zone would be 12:30 to 9. So you'll know right away if that won't work for you. So again, if this is something you're interested in, you would hit no and decline job. And here you go again, there's another one. And I'm not going to go through every one for you as far as like clicking on the shifts and stuff, because I know there's other companies you want to see too. But what I want to show you is what happens when you keep saying you're not interested. So let's just see how many are on here now. Okay, so they have another seasonal fashion. We're going to decline. Another retail support. We'll just decline this one too. Healthcare support, and now this one's $10 an hour, so we're moving up. But just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going through it. And here's a dining representative. I've seen this one before. It's Boston Market, so if you want to take catering requests with Boston Market, you can do that. Okay, so I'm going to decline this one. Okay, so now you can see I've gone through all of them. We'll give it a minute to think. Oh, okay, apparently there's more again. This wasn't on here before. Well, you can see there's a lot of positions, so there's definitely a lot of options. But I wanted to get to the end of it, but if it's going to give me a million of them, I might just have to tell you and not show you. So basically what's going to happen, because this is taking a minute here, but basically once you've declined all the jobs, oh, here we go. So you can review them again. So I don't want you to feel that you have to pick the very first one because you won't be able to see them all. You can cycle through the whole thing and then pick the one that you really feel is going to work for you. So after you've selected one, you've got an email or you've got an interview set up, what's going to happen next? You're going to get an automated email that's going to have the link to your interview. The interview's in an Adobe chat room, similar to this, just a little more fancy. And basically, it's going to be a group interview. When you first enter the room, they're going to have some boards up that are going to describe different things to you. It's going to say, this is the schedules we're hiring for. This is the company that we're hiring for. These are your responsibilities. This is what we need of you, so on and so forth. And then there'll be a poll question. Can you meet this commitment or not? If you choose no, that's okay. They'll just kick you out of the room and put you back in the pool so you can pick another job to try to interview for. If you say yes, then you move on to the interview portion, which they're going to ask you a couple questions that you'll answer text-based, and then they'll break you out into groups, and then you're going to read your question out loud to them. And basically everyone in the room will hear that. In some cases, depending on the client and the needs of the business, you may find out right then and there if you got the position. I've interviewed for a few of these jobs before, and 2 of them I heard right away. The 3rd one I did not. But you will find out within a week or 2 because you have to have time to get all the paperwork done and the background check, and some of them require drug testing. So all of that takes time, and you can see that most of these positions start in a couple weeks. So you're going to know fairly quickly if you got hired. Just real quick, because it's the first one I'm talking about, I wanted to show you a fact page for one of these companies just to kind of know what to expect. These are the states that they're hiring in. So Sykes is pretty widespread. You have 40 states in the US to choose from. So if you plan on moving, there's a good chance you can keep your job. So most of the positions are full-time, but they do have some part-time. Here's again the steps if you want to look at it on your own time to see what the process is like. And they do hire you as an actual employee. You're not an independent contractor. So then you are paid every 2 weeks, and you can do direct deposit. And then after 30 days, you do get benefits. So that's medical, dental, vision, and then a matching 401k. The only thing it doesn't talk about is paid time off. So that might be case to case. So I'm not sure on that one. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about, and these will go a lot quicker than Sykes did, it's just they're a lot different, so I wanted to make sure you had that information. So Teletech is the one that I actually worked for. Right now, they're not hiring too much, and they usually hire part-time, so if you're looking part-time, this would be better for you. I can tell you with my own experience that they have a lot of internal options. So once you're in with the company, you're going to see more opportunity and more customer service jobs come up as well too. I worked 2 different projects with them, and both were great teams. It's just lower pay with them, but you do get benefits and you do get paid time off. Right now, their only permanent positions seem to be bilingual or a licensed healthcare insurance agent. So if neither of those fit you, but you want to give them a chance, they do have this remote seasonal job. And with this one, you're looking at $8.50 an hour, 20 to 30 hours per week. So that's pretty much it. Their interview process is almost identical to Sykes, where you're going to be in a group chat and answer some questions and then pick your schedule and all that fun stuff there. They do require a background check, and they do also require a drug test. The next one I wanted to talk about was Sitel. They're slightly different as far as their application process, because I forgot to mention, but Teletech, when you apply for the very first job, it's going to be like Sykes, where you need to set aside 30 to 60 minutes to create your profile, because you'll go through testing, but you only have to do it the one time, and then your profile is created, and going forward, anytime you apply for that job, it's just a click of a button. Sitel's different. Sitel, you would fill out a standard job application if you live in one of the qualifying states, which are the ones here in red. You'd fill out a job application. They might have a few questions about your customer service background and test your knowledge a little bit, but it's not the same long assessment that you have to see jobs with Teletech or Sykes. So basically, once you submit your application, anytime a job is available that you qualify for, you'll get an automated email. It'll basically say you've been invited to take an assessment. So you would then take the long, boring assessment. And if you pass it, at the very end of it, they ask you right then and there to schedule an interview. Then you get a phone call from a recruiter, and your interview's over the phone, one-on-one with a recruiter. They tell you about the position and see if that's something you're interested in, and then you move forward with them there. Pay for these vary and hours vary, so you'll get an email with the details. If you're not interested in Sitel, they still have a cool benefits calculator on their website if you want to take advantage of that and see how much money you really do save without having the commute, or if you have to buy uniforms or you find yourself eating out every day, you can really see how much you're saving by working from home. The other one I want to show you is Conduent, and with this one, they don't seem to have any state restrictions, but the nice thing about them is they're $11.50 an hour and they're full-time. So that's a lot higher than I've seen with most jobs. If you're looking for full-time and you're looking for something with benefits and higher pay, they might be one to consider. And they do have a couple positions they're hiring for right now. The process with them is very similar to Sitel in the sense that you're going to just fill out a basic application. And once you've filled out the application, you'll get an email from a recruiter saying, hey, you've matched with a position we think you'd be good for. Take this assessment. If you pass the assessment, you get another email from a recruiter asking you to set up an interview. And then the interview will go over what the company is, when the training class is starting, what the pay is, and answer any questions that you have. If it's something you're interested in, the recruiter will then sign you up for 2 more over the phone interviews, and these are basically testing your knowledge. I did speak with a recruiter, and it sounds like, and I can't guarantee you this with every project, but they do supply you with the computer that you'll need and the headset. So it sounds like they're going to give you the equipment. Teletech did not do that for me for a computer, but they did send me a headset for one of my projects. And Sykes, it varies. Some of them, they do send you equipment and some don't. So be prepared to have to invest in like a headset. But you can get a headset for about $20. So it's not a huge commitment to get started with them. But that's pretty much how Conduent works. The next one I want to show you, and I know there's someone in the room who's going to laugh at this one, so bear with me. But Alorica has a center in Rockford, but they also do work from home. So if you're familiar with the company, but you don't like being in a call center environment, you may find some opportunities online with them. I don't want to spend too much time on them because I don't know what their online interview process is like. But if you click on one of the jobs to apply, it sounds like you just start a live chat with them. So that gives you a good opportunity to ask all the questions and find out what's going on. But they do seem to have a lot of unique positions. So I'm not exactly sure how they work because it's not your typical customer service, like you see shopping assistant or assist with various products. So I'm not 100% sure what they're hiring for, but I figured it'd be worth mentioning, especially since they have a center in Rockford and I've been there before. And if you find yourself not liking to work from home, maybe you can transfer to a center if you live near Rockford. The next one I want to show you, I'm not 100% sure if they're an employee or an independent contractor, and I tried really hard to find out. I even went through the application process, and it still didn't clarify. that leads me and makes me hope that it's an employer position, but I wanted to mention it regardless because it is a unique option that you didn't see on the other sites. And this is that they offer a chat position. So if you don't want to be on the phones and you want to give chat a shot, this might be one to check out. I can tell you, coming from a chat environment, it's not easy. It's very stressful, so it's not a good workaround if you are just trying to find something that's less stressful, because it comes with its own stresses. You're usually doing 2 to 3 chats at a time, so multitasking is definitely important for this one. But if this is something that you'd be interested in, I will make sure this link is included as well when I send you guys an email after this. I'm gonna make sure you guys get every single link that we're talking about. So if you're taking notes, don't worry too much about it if I'm going kind of fast, because I'm gonna give you guys all of these links. So I was gonna stop there, but there was a couple other ones that I came across recently, and I just want to show you real quick. So Kelly Connect is one that I've seen, and they have a lot of positions available right now, and they really pay the most out of anyone I've seen. So you can make $12 to $14 an hour during training, and then after 90 days, you're up to $13 to $15 an hour. So if you really can't afford to make $9 an hour, this might be the one you want to try for first. It looks like it's all inbound. They have tech support and they have customer service. So I'll make sure you get that as well. And then I also came across All Staff, and they seem to be more local. They're just Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, and Minnesota. So you can find your town, like here's DeKalb for me, $11 an hour. So these all pay $11 an hour too, but they're all work from home. So I'll make sure you guys see that one as well. Let me see. And then the last one I was going to show you is Concentrix, and they have a bunch of work from home too. So full-time or part-time customer service or product support, or this looks like pretty much the same thing. Or if you know someone in Canada, they hire in Canada. So as you can see just by what I've shown you, and this isn't even the complete list I have, there are several work from home opportunities available that are going to benefit you. And what I mean by that is, like, you're going to get a 401k, you're going to get paid time off, and you can sit in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to worry about a long commute anymore if this is something that you think would work for you. Just keep in mind they are big about no background noise. So before I move on to the independent contractors, just very, very quickly, I know I've shown you a lot of companies you've probably never heard of, so it seems a little nerve-wracking, but they do hire for big clients. I don't want to say who, because you're really not supposed to disclose that until you're working for them, so I don't want to cause any trouble. But if it still is a little unnerving, there are major corporations that hire work from home too. And to just mention a few, Apple hires at-home advisors, and that could be chat or phone. U-Haul schedules at-home schedulers. And then Dyson has at-home positions, and Amazon as well. And I actually pulled a Dyson one for you. So this is on Dyson's website. They don't disclose the pay, but this one is chat, email, and social media. So this one doesn't even sound like you'd be on the phones. So that'd be pretty cool. And then Amazon is hiring right now, mostly bilingual. So if you're bilingual, German, Spanish, French, Italian, I definitely encourage you. But then they also have a seasonal military preferred. It doesn't mean it's restricted to military. It just means they're going to give preference to military. So it's definitely worth something to look into. And then they have another seasonal work from home and Japanese bilingual position. So there are actual mainstream companies out there that work from home too. It's just harder to find because most of them are outsourcing to these other companies that I'm telling you about. So when you partner with Sykes or Citel or Concentrix or any of these companies, you're most likely going to get put on a project for a company that you know very well, and you might already know how to use their products. Okay, so I know some of you are here just for the independent contractor stuff, so I don't want to keep you waiting too much longer. I want to kind of go over, though, what you can expect the difference between an employee and an independent contractor are. So you know what you're getting yourself into ahead of time. So let me just go over these really briefly with you. So if you're an employee of a company, you're going to have a set schedule. The company is going to withhold your taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. You're covered by a number of federal and state employment and labor laws. You often receive employment benefits such as health and disability insurance. You work under the control and direction of the employer. You tend not incur any costs or investment into the work, so any kind of supplies necessary to do the job is usually covered by the employer. You'll receive workers' compensation benefits for any workplace injury. You're paid an hourly wage based on state minimum wage laws, and you accomplish tasks in the manner that the employee has requested. So basically, if you're a direct employee of a company, you're following any company requirements and agreements, and you may be required to sign paperwork by HR prior to employment, and that could be to follow dress codes, code of conduct, code of ethics, anything that they require of you to be an employee and work under their brand, basically. So independent contractors can set their own work schedule. There might be requirements of you have to work 20 hours for this or you have to work 40 hours for this, but you can pick when you're working. Some assignments may only be temporary. Taxes and benefits are not withheld. You would be responsible to claim any income over $600 with that individual company. That's the big thing that I feel can set some people off from doing that. But I just wanted to give a little tip on that because I have been an independent contractor on multiple occasions. If you do a Google search for pay rate calculator, you can pull up multiple of them and you select your state and you type in how much you make per hour, what kind of deductions, like are you paying healthcare out of pocket, and how many hours you worked, and it'll tell you an estimate on what taxes would have been taken out of your check, so you can kind of know each week you get paid what you should be putting aside in a separate account, so come tax time you have that money saved up and you just pay your taxes, and if there's anything left then you've given yourself a little tax return, or you can roll it over and have it be there for next year. So that's just a little tip for anyone who's considering this but was a little nervous about the taxes. You're not offered employment benefits such as disability or insurance when you're an independent contractor. So keep in mind, if you're not on someone's policy because of the laws right now, you would either have to pay a fine or pay insurance out of pocket. You're typically not eligible for workers' compensation, and you're usually not protected under employment anti-discrimination and workplace safety laws. You're not required to be paid an hourly wage. Pay may be very minimal, and you have the authority to decide how to go about accomplishing a task, and you're not required to follow any specific rules for completing the work unless you came up with a contract agreement. Like they may have a specific way they need things done, and if that's the case, it has to be laid out in the contract agreement that you make with them. Otherwise, they're not your employer and they can't treat you like an employee unless they're going to give you the benefits of being an employee. So that's very important to understand and know your rights as an independent contractor. All right, so now that I've given you the background difference of the two, I'm going to show you some different opportunities. I'm not going to have time. It'd take a while if we went through every single one of these websites, but I will give you a brief understanding of them, and then there's a couple that I do want to show you the website for. So if you really love the idea of customer service and you like talking to people, but you can't commit to a set schedule, these are some companies: Live Ops, Working Solutions, Chat Shop, Needle, Pleo, and VoiceLog that might be better for you because they are customer service positions, but on your own time. So you choose when and how often to work for most of them, and I'll explain what I mean by that in just a minute. So say you've decided customer service is not your thing. You can't do it. You don't want to do it. You're over it. Some of these other ones might be better for you. So if you're into data entry or transcription, MTurk, which is short for Mechanical Turk, it's powered by Amazon. Rev.com or transcribeme.com might be better options for you. And I'm going to show you those briefly in just a moment. If you have your own services to offer and you just never knew where to go, here are some sites that might be good for you. Presto Experts. On Presto Experts, I use them myself for my coaching. So you can start a live session with me on there anytime that I'm logged in, and you just pay for the session up front, and that's how I make my money. Presto Experts would take a commission, and I would get the rest of it. And then you can request a check once you've reached a certain threshold. So you can find all kinds of things on there. Extreme couponers are on there. They'll share their tips. Resume writing, counseling, coaching, tutoring, anything like that. So definitely take a look at that site. You might find something you need yourself, or you might realize that there's something you can offer to someone. If you like teaching, there's a website called VIP Kids. The pay is decent. I believe it's part-time, but you're only tutoring one child at a time, and it's webcam based. And then Udemy is basically you've created your own coursework from scratch and you're offering it to other people. So you could put together a live demonstration like I'm doing right now, but record it ahead of time and then post it on the Udemy, and people can pay for your classes, or you can offer it for free, or you can mix and match, offer a couple free ones and then make money paying it. Fiverr is the one I'm going to show you from this section. It's actually kind of funny. You'd be surprised the type of things you could find on there. I've used it for some things in the past. I've had commercials made for me on there. I've had traffic building and marketing people help me out on there. So there's all kinds of things. If that's not your thing and data entry is not your thing, maybe you are more crafty, but you don't want to deal with the inventory of Etsy or eBay or anything like that. You might want to consider Cafe Press or Zazzle, which I'll show you. I quickly made a Zazzle store, so really there's nothing in it except two things that I quickly put my logo on to show you. But basically, if you design things, whether it's artwork, handbags, shower curtains, mugs, whatever you can think of, office supplies, things of that nature, you can design your logo, have it put onto the merchandise in a store. There's no setup fees, there's no inventory for you to keep. You just set your price. Cafe Press and Zazzle takes a huge commission out of that price, but then they create all the product for you and ship it directly to the customer. So there's no inventory for you to keep up with. You never have to see the product yourself. It's all handled through them. You just set up the store how you want it and offer what you want to offer. So the last one that I'll show you too are freelance options. And on freelance websites, you're going to find a huge array of things on there. It could be anything from programming to customer service, blog writing, acting, just almost anything you can think of is on there. But keep in mind that they can pay and offer whatever they want. So you might see customer service jobs on there that are $2 an hour, or you can see customer service jobs on there that are $30 an hour, or it might be a fixed price of, if you arrange all this data work for me in a spreadsheet, I'll pay you $500. That'd be a lot, but you know what I mean. I'll show you, I quickly made a profile on there as well, so I can kind of show you what it looks like. So I'm going to close this again, and I'm going to show you some of these websites. Okay, so Working Solutions is the first customer service one that I wanted to show you. So you can see there are a lot of jobs, and they look just like the other ones. You've got senior living customer care, customer service agent, event tickets and sales, travel customer. So as you can see, there's quite a bit, but if you click on one, and keep in mind each project's separate, so requirements are going to be different, but just looking at one of these, let's see, doesn't disclose the pay, but you have to be able to commit to 20 hours per week during the client's operating hours. So you don't have to say, you're not going to be given a schedule that says you have to be here every day at Monday from 9 to 5. You can come in any day of the week, anytime during the time they're open, as long as you're meeting the 20-hour requirement. And that's pretty much how it's going to work with most of these. So I don't want to spend too much time. Again, they require 20 hours. If you can't even commit to 20 hours, you might want to try Live Ops. I found ones on there where there's no minimum requirement and no maximum requirement, so that might be better for you. Let's see. So the next one I wanted to show you was the Chat Shop one. Because again, this is an independent contractor opportunity, but it's not phones, it's live chat. So if you're still big on the idea of live chat, this would be the one for you to check out. So it's thechatshop.com, and their application's a lot different, so that's why I wanted to show you this one. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of their live chat agent page, if you want to apply for this, you would email this email address, hello@thechatshop.com, and you would attach your resume, and then you would answer these 4 questions. And then you can see here, if you've been successful, you'll be offered a live chat interview followed by a mini assessment and a phone interview. And this one, they do state on their website that they require 35 to 45 hours, and that you do set up a schedule with them, but it changes every 2 weeks, and it's flexible with your availability. So if you want something that you're going to be working a lot of hours, but you want more flexibility, this is a good one. I couldn't figure out how much they pay, but I did a lot of research online, and it seems as though they pay $10 an hour. So that's pretty decent for an independent contractor position, especially if you can work 45 hours from home. That's pretty good. So I didn't pull up Plio's website, but I did want to mention it because there could be people on here that this would actually be absolutely perfect for. With this one, there's no minimum requirement and no maximum requirement. You can sign in and work whenever you want. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. So with Plio, it's customer service, inbound, outbound, but instead of it being like tech support or anything like that, what you're doing is you're calling clients who take medication, and you're reminding them to take the medication. So they don't pay you when you're not on a call, but when you are on a call, you're making, it said between $14 to $18 an hour. So I'm guessing these are probably short calls, like 2 to 3 minutes, but if you can get several of those in a day, that's going to add up quick at a high pay rate like that. So I did want to mention Pleo just for that reason. If you don't like being on the phone for a long time, but the idea of calling someone and reminding them to take their medication appeals to you, that'd be perfect. And then I forgot to mention it too, but Needle that I mentioned earlier is another chat position. But again, you're getting paid only when you're taking a chat, and it's for people who are shopping on different websites, and you're just helping them with that. So that might be one to check into. Okay, so moving on to the data entry, I wanted to show you mTurk. I used to have a profile on here a long time ago, and I had made a couple $100 on it, but I'm going to tell you, looking at this, you can see that I've done 23 tasks and I've earned $1.20. So this is definitely not a get rich option, but it is a I'm sitting at home bored, might as well be making some money type of option. But I also just picked some of the really low paying quick hits. So for example, here's an example of one I do a lot of. You only get 2 cents, but it takes you like 5 seconds to do it. So, hold on. It does that to me sometimes. Either that or he is taking it off. Let's see. Well, I might not be able to use that one as an example this time. No, okay. But basically what it was is he had a business card and a drop-down box, and you typed in the info that was on the business card and you hit submit, and it took you like 5 seconds. So things like that can add up. Or there's surveys. Hold on. So the surveys do pay more, and as you do more hits, you'll get qualified for more things. So right here, I show a lot of request qualification, but that's because I just made my profile and I haven't done anything. But if you do, the more you get approved for, and the more potential money you can make. Like once you get qualified for these ones, you know, $1.50 to take a survey. Also, I mentioned transcription. If you're interested in transcribing but you're not confident it'll work out for you, before you sign up on one of those sites that's dedicated to transcribing, you can practice really short ones on here. I'd have to do some digging because for some reason I haven't been organized very well on this website today. Might help if I change it to audio. So here we go. I'd have to take qualification tests for some of these, but basically, you know, transcribe 35 seconds of audio. You start practicing on these ones and you build up if it's the right thing for you. And I've also noticed even on this website for the larger transcribe files, so if you're willing to transcribe 30 minutes to an hour of audio, you could make like $45 to $60 for that. But sites like Rev, which we'll move on to now, are going to pay you a lot more. Rev offers transcription, captions, and what was it? Subtitles. So you can add subtitles to TV shows, which is pretty cool. And you get paid better for them, but transcribeme.com is going to pay you the most. They've been around the longest. But Rev or mTurk would be a good place to start to practice and make sure you feel comfortable doing it. Okay, so that's those. There's more out there if you just look up transcription, but just be careful and be mindful of scams before you sign up for anything. So Fiverr is the one I wanted to show you that's kind of funny. You can offer a service and people will pay you. It started at all services were $5, but now you can add on things and make more money. But anything you can think of, sing me a birthday song, answer my dating advice question, like I said, I had a commercial made. I had a friend who was signed up on here and would sing songs for people, or I've even seen people say that I will add you as my girlfriend or boyfriend on Facebook. So literally anything you can think of is probably on here for you to do. I found people on here who design tattoos because I want to have a certain tattoo designed for me. So if there's something that you do and you think you could offer, like I signed up on here too. I'll look over your resume, or I'll help you with job sites, things like that. So if you have a type of service you want to offer, that would be a good one. Um, so that was the only one I was going to show you under the um, offering your own service ones, because VIP kids and stuff, you can't really see that unless you're registered. So if that's something that you're interested in, you'll have to sign up on there and do that. But Zazzle, as I mentioned, where you can create your own products to sell, and they would just pay you the commission off of it. So you can sell on Zazzle. You can see hold on, hover over again. Doesn't want to cooperate. So 3 ways to sell: sell your art, sell your products, or spread the word. So I haven't looked into these other two. It's the Become a Designer one that I did. And like I said, I just quickly put my logo on a shirt so I could show you. But say if someone really, really loved this shirt, they can add it to the cart and buy it. I'm going to get the profit amount off of it, but I'm never going to have to actually build the shirt. It's going to go to their warehouses or whatever and get made and ship off to the customer. So if you have products that you want to see people wearing, but you haven't known how to get started, then Zazzle or Cafe Press is the best way to go. And I've seen all kinds of things on there. Like on Cafe Press, I bought a ornament for my fiance for Christmas one year of a character he really liked. Obviously, you shouldn't be selling any kind of copyrighted stuff on here, but definitely. Sorry, I got distracted. Someone just joined. Hi, Brittany. But yeah, any type of artwork you have for yourself that you want to put on a product, you can definitely sell that on Cafe Press or Zazzle. So the last category I said that I would talk to you about was freelance opportunities. The example I'm going to show you is from Upwork.com. It used to be elance.com, so if any of you are familiar with this type of work, it's the same website. So like I mentioned on these freelance websites like freelancer.com or upwork.com, basically these are just businesses that need short-term assignments done for them, and they either pay very minimal for it to be done, or they might pay you a lot. It depends a lot on your expertise and the feedback you get on these sites. So you might have to start small. You might have to take a customer service job that pays $3 an hour with 10 hours a week just to get that employer to leave you feedback and up your profile. But as you can see, you can search customer service, which is what I have on here now. Let me refresh it because it's been up for a while. So here you go. You're looking for a friendly and professional customer support associate. It's 3 to 6 months, less than 10 hours a week. It doesn't show the pay because the way that Upwork works is the freelancers will place a bid, and then they'll look at everyone who bid and decide who they want to work with at that point. But you can see, like, you want to make sure you're working with the ones who are payment verified. They have feedback, and you can see they've actually spent money. So this is how much they've paid freelancers so far since they've been on the website. So there's all kinds of stuff you can see on here. Here's someone, help with phone, email, social media. This one's 30 hours a week. If customer service isn't your thing, like I said, they have programming, blog writing, marketing, personal assistant. So that could be doing any kind of data entry tasks that they need from you. So that could be more up your alley. You'll just have to search in here and kind of find what works for you. The nice thing is you create a profile and you can showcase all your experiences. And the best part, I feel like, is you can take these free tests. And the best part of anyone can say they can do something, but being able to prove your skill set really sets you apart. So even if you decide not to use Upwork, I still encourage you to make a profile and take advantage of these free tests and put them on your LinkedIn or put them on your certification section, or if you build a portfolio that you give when you go on job interviews. These are all great things to prove that you have the knowledge of. So there's so many different tests on here, and they're all free when you have a profile. Freelancer does the same thing, but I've noticed that they've kind of changed things around a little bit, and they have free options, but the certifications aren't free. They charge you for those tests. So definitely I would encourage you to start with Upwork.com. The benefit to Freelancer.com is they show you the company shows you how much they're offering for that position. I can see real quick if I can get into that profile. Can't remember if they were letting me in or not. Let's see. Okay, so here you go. So on these ones, you can actually see how much they're going to give you. So it's not really a bid necessarily. You would just have to apply and interview. And these are all web stuff, so that's going to be higher pay. But if you look at like customer service, do some Excel work, $974. You have to gain experience points, it looks like, on here. Maybe you do bid. Here's a virtual assistant, $52 an hour. That's kind of a lot. $18 an hour. So I'm feeling like on Freelancer, they're really looking for people who are more experienced. But then, see, here's another one that's $4 an hour. So just be prepared if you're going to go on sites like this. Start off on these low ones, $5 an hour, and really build up your profile, and then you'll be able to get the attention of these people who pay a decent wage. But it's nice because these, like I said, these are short-term assignments. You can kind of get a feel. Do I like customer service? Do I like admin work? And you're not really committed to anything. And maybe this is where you want to start before you go for the work at home jobs, or maybe you just don't have time for the work at home jobs but feel like you can make this work. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to give you all these links, but I just have a few more things to go over, and I'll open it up for Q&A. So now that you guys are going to start looking at these positions, you're going to be looking at the ones I gave you and maybe even doing your own research. It's important to me that you guys know how to protect yourself against scams. So let's just look at these bullet points real quick. The important thing is don't pay for opportunities. If you're asked to make investments, don't do it. This could be asking you to pay some kind of startup kit, telling you there's a monthly subscription fee to their website, etc. Exceptions are some may ask you to pay for background checks. And again, even with freelancer.com, why pay when there's a free version or free websites? So multi-level marketing and pyramid schemes, these are not always scams. There's definitely legitimate companies out there like Avon, Jamberry, and Pampered Chef. These are real companies, but it's really hard to be successful. You're not going to become rich overnight. It requires a lot of dedication, people skills, marketing, and sales abilities. A lot of people sign up for it and don't do very well, but other people do amazing. So know your personality, know how much time you can dedicate to it, and before you make an investment. Because with these companies, you are making an investment. You're buying the supplies, you're buying your materials to be a successful seller. So do your research, make sure this is right for you. And keep in mind that there are multi-level marketing companies that are scams. So um, if you're not sure about it, research it. And if you're still not sure about it, avoid it and move on to something else. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Avoid any job that promises thousands of dollars a month because that's not realistic. Don't call 1-900 numbers. If a job advertises you to call a 1-900, this will cost you money. If you can't find information on them from legitimate sources like Glassdoor, I would recommend moving on. Google them. If a company sounds questionable, Google their name and see what comes up. Even try adding scam at the end of your search and see what comes up. Ask questions. Don't be scared to ask the company lots of questions until you feel comfortable. A real employer would be happy and would encourage you to ask them questions. Most importantly, never give out personal details, especially social security number or banking information until you're 100% confident you know it's a real opportunity and you know where that information is going. Take the time to read through their privacy agreements on the websites, and keep in mind that career sites have scams too. Don't trust a job opportunity just because it's on a job board like Career Builder. It could still very well be a scam. And then always report any scams to the FTC website. And I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. This link that I put here is going to show you even more tips, and I'll get that info to you too. So almost done here. Just one more thing I wanted to mention. Thank you guys for showing up, the ones of you who did. I had a pretty long RSVP list, so I'm not too sure what happened, but that's okay. But for those of you who are here today, and in the future, if any time you decide you want to sign up for life coaching or career coaching with me, I always offer free consultations. But if you save a screenshot or take a picture of this coupon and you decide to sign up for coaching in the future, you'll get 25% off the overall cost of the coaching agreement. And then also, starting October 11th, I'll be doing webinars like this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and you can see the ones that I have coming up. I'm going to put together something on my website that's easier for you to sign up for things, but for right now, if any of these are interesting to you, you can RSVP by emailing or going to liveabrightlife.com. And then, yeah, that's about it for that. So again, I just want to thank you guys for coming today. And now I'm going to open it up to any Q&A that you guys have. And then here's, just in case you want to jump right into this before I get that email to you about all the companies we talked about, here they are in front of you, the names of them. But my email is going to have the actual link to the jobs in the application form. So it's up to you if you want to write any of these down or just wait for the email. But yeah, so if you have any questions, you can go ahead and type it in the chat room and I'll do my best to answer it for you. That's a good question. The one I hear recommended the most is Inbox Dollars. I just tell you to be careful with this one, only because they have to make their money somehow. So there's a lot of typing in your email, and it gets, sent to other companies, and you'll start getting spammed a lot. So if you're going to do this, I would highly encourage you to create a second email that you use just for these websites. The nice thing about Inbox Dollars is not only can you do it from your computer, but there's a phone app too. So say you're going on a road trip or something, or you're waiting at a doctor's office, you can do some surveys and make a couple dollars. And they give you $5 just for signing up too, so that's nice. Also, MTurk, as I mentioned earlier, they pay pretty decent for surveys, considering how they only take you a couple minutes to do. So that's also one I would look on for surveys. Any other questions for me? Any of the work at home opportunities you want to see again, or any clarification you need on the independent contractor ones? I'm happy to answer. That's a really good question. So, what I always recommend doing is think about the job you're applying for and what you do at your current job that's related to it, and not so much mention your duties at your job, but focus on your accomplishments. Because even if you don't have, say you're applying for a customer service job, but you don't have phone experience, you haven't actually worked in a call center, you would somehow highlight your accomplishments at the job that line up with it, if that makes sense. It's easier, I can give you an actual example if you want to send your resume to me in an email, but basically what employers look for on a resume isn't so much what you do at your job, but what you've accomplished, what you've done for your job. So for me, instead of saying I handle troubleshooting with my customers, I would say something like, I succeeded my metrics and was a top performer in my department. Um, I volunteered time to do this. I managed people doing this. So more things that you've accomplished. Or when I worked at the Career Center, I focused on the fact that it wasn't a job duty, it was something that I accomplished there. I restructured their job posting system and reduced consumption by so much per month. So if you can somehow just kind of focus on what you've accomplished at the job, it's going to overshadow your actual duties. But if you think about it, say you work at a restaurant, but you want to work at a call center, it's still customer focused. So what kind of accomplishments or what kind of duties do you do that involve people? Are you building rapport with people? Um, you're connecting, you're building a connection, you de-escalate customers who went through something bad. So even most jobs, even if they're completely different environments, you're face to face or you're in a call center, there's probably some way you can relate them still. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit too, but if you have any questions about that or you need help putting together the resume, and I was going to offer that to everyone who came here today, I'm sure you're all very excited to jump into some of these opportunities. But if you want me to look at your resume, if you can email it to me tonight, I will get back to you right away. Like I will start looking at them today and just in the order that I receive them, and I'll give you some tips, and you can tell me what opportunity you're looking at specifically, and I'll kind of give you some examples that match up your current experience to what you're trying to apply for. So that's the easiest way to do it. I'm sorry, I kind of rambled that a lot, but yeah, the easiest way um, to go about any resume is to focus on. Hold on, sorry, I just started reading your question. Right, yeah, like you don't need to focus so much on your daily duties because that is on your job application. So your resume, you really want to focus on your accomplishments, what you've done for that company. But anyway, as I was saying, if you guys email erica.brightlife@gmail.com, send me your resume, and if there's a certain position you're going after, send me that too, and I'll help you kind of get your resume prepared for that position. Any other questions? Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you guys made it. I'm gonna leave this room going for a little bit here, and in case you guys were taking notes on what I have up here. Oh, you guys are very welcome. I feel like I was talking forever. I had to mute myself and like down some water, but I'm glad I could be informative. Kaylin, it sounds like you have a question coming, so I don't know. Okay, base. For a busy college student, I would say that, oh, no worries. I would say that if you want to do an actual work at home opportunity and not so much independent contractor, I would start with a company like Teletech, who's going to give you more part-time. But it really depends on your situation. What can you afford to make? Things of that nature. But definitely Teletech or any of the ones that are offering part-time is going to be the easiest for you. Even Sykes, because some of the positions have so many schedule options, as you saw with that one I showed you, that would probably be the best way to go. Start with one of those. Otherwise, if you're okay with independent contractor positions, I would definitely, with your experience, recommend, where to go? Live Ops, or that other one that I just found, and I forgot the name of it. Hold on, it's on this slide. Okay, so Live Ops, Working Solutions, or Pleo, if you don't mind being independent contractor, are going to be your best ones, only because you get to pick your schedule, and they pay a little bit better for most of them than Teletech does. But Pleo, especially if you don't mind calling people and telling them to take their medication, you're going to make the most money with that one. You're welcome. My answers are so ranty. I apologize. Most of you know my experience background comes from chat, so I can think my answers out before I say them. But if you have any other questions, or Brittany, I know you came in super late, so you didn't get to see any of the work at home opportunities. If there's anything on that you wanted me to see, or sorry, you wanted to see, I am happy to show you. Otherwise, everyone else, you're welcome to stay and write these down or type in any other questions you have. Otherwise, you're free to go. And I will send you all a follow-up email tonight that has the direct links to all these applications. I just unfortunately didn't have time to type it up ahead of time, so I have to do it now, but I promise to get it to you guys quick because I have a feeling a lot of you who can are probably headed to Sykes because they had so many positions, but for us crafters. Okay, Melissa, so for a craft position, or at least say copyright, typically this just means you didn't steal an image. So if you took an image from a website, you'll have to go to the source of that website and read their policy. Usually you can buy the rights to it, and I'll send you a link that I have. It'll show you what it looks like if you're asking for the rights to that image to use it in certain ways. Um, but yeah, if it's something you've totally created from scratch, then you don't have to worry so much. But if you borrowed any part of it, we just want to make sure we have the right licensing agreements. And I'll show you some examples on websites where you can find that. Oh, and Caitlin, I agree with you. Chat was awesome. All right, I'm going to mute my mic and give you guys time to write down whatever you're writing down, but I'm still keeping an eye on the chat, so if any other questions. Oh, when did I start working from home? I took my first work at home position with Teletech in 2014. I worked for them from 2014 to 2015 before I moved on to my current job. Prior to that, I was an independent contractor for about 6 years. Actually, it's kind of a funny story. I showed you MTurk, which you guys are all probably looking at that like, why would I waste my time making 2 cents on a project? Well, I actually, there was a guy who was offering like maybe $3, something like that, to organize some data for him, and I accepted it, and I ended up, he liked how I did it, so I found out that he was like a CEO of a privacy company, and he just not hired, because I can't really say hired as an independent contractor, but for lack of a better term, he hired me to keep doing work for him, and before I knew it, I was making $500 every 2 weeks with him, and then he referred me to other CEOs, and I just started doing all these projects for them where I was making like $13 an hour for them, and it actually, it was steady income enough that I moved out to DeKalb and lived with my roommates, and that's what I was doing the whole time. So you never know what kind of opportunity is going to come out of something. So you might one day be on MTurk thinking you're going to make 20 cents and find out that you are going to make $500 a month or a week or whatever with someone you meet on there. So yeah, it was pretty cool. He was a great person, and I learned a lot through him, and enjoyed the other companies I got to work with as well. I'm actually going to stop recording the session now, but I'm still here to answer any other questions that come to your mind. But this is just going to make it even more I have to edit later.